first time, though. It's certainly not going to be the last time. The US is going to preach human rights to every country in the world. They have been at it for decades. This hypocrisy has been a historical constant. And since the US is extremely interested in calling out other countries over human rights violations, we've decided to hold the mirror to them. On Wion Edit tonight, we've compiled America's very own dodgy track record on human rights. Let's go back to the US and to the infamous rhetoric that it has sold the world, the so-called war on terror. Public memory is short, so it's important to narrate some dark tales over and over again, and there isn't a darker tale than Abu Ghraib. The US Army and Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, committed some of the most brutal crimes against humanity at the Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, rape, sodomy, torture, you name it. The photographs that emerged out of Abu Ghraib shook the conscience of the world. And orders to commit such crimes came from the US Department of Justice itself. These documents that authorized brutal interrogation techniques were called torture memos. This is the same US that's preaching human rights to other countries, and it's not some random newspaper reports that we're talking about. Amnesty International, for one, published a full note on this in 2003. Initially, the US government denied it. Then they made 17 soldiers scapegoats. 17 soldiers, only 2 of them spent reasonable time in prison. This is America's dark face, one that it doesn't want the world to see. When Abu Ghraib torture came to light, the US called it an isolated incident, but isolated incident it was not. Proof: Guantanamo Bay. Soon after the September 11 attacks, the US established Guantanamo Bay as a place to hold people perceived to be enemy combatants. That's the term they used. Guantanamo did not come under any law, neither American nor international. What followed was another chilling set of crimes against humanity. 800 people were detained, no charges, no trials, people held for indefinite periods of time and subjected to extreme torture. International laws were violated. People below the age of 21 were detained and subjected to brutal torture. And at the heart of this violation was a lie. The Bush administration said that a bulk of these prisoners were captured from Afghanistan. Facts prove otherwise. This was mass torture without legal recourse. And Barack Obama, the Nobel Peace Laureate, did not close down Guantanamo Bay. The detention center functions as we speak to this day. This is par for the course for the US. The brutal treatment and scant respect for human rights is not just for external captives. At home, the US police shoots down nearly 1,000 people every year, and racism, white supremacy and xenophobia are the guiding principles here. According to data from the prestigious PNAS, 1 in every 1,000 black Americans is likely to be killed by police. Afro-Americans account for only 13% of the total US population, but American prisons are filled with 40% of Afro-Americans, 1/6 of the population, 2/5 of the prison population. This is America for you. I could go on, but I guess the point is obvious now. Given this context, it is important to understand why the US is raking up China's abuse of human rights in Xinjiang. 1, it's a bargaining chip in the trade talks, and 2, it's a distraction from the impeachment proceedings that could derail Donald Trump's presidency. The US must stop taking a moral high ground because their history shows that they have no ground for morals.